Hi, my name is Mark Yegge, and this video is about my story. And it's not like I like to get on the video and just hear myself talk or watch myself on the video. I've had a few customers that say, well, we'd like to know a little bit more about you. And I've had an assistant tell me, you should really put out a video that talks about your story and where you got started and how you got here. So here goes. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of take you through my life. Not that it's all that important, but it's pretty cool. I think I've put together a pretty cool life, and hopefully you are too. So I'm just going to tell you about it. Maybe you can learn a few things from what I've gone through, and maybe it'll keep you entertained. Anyway, again, Mark Yegge, and I am essentially a location-independent entrepreneur. And so that basically means that I travel the world, and wherever I kind of get perched is where I like to do my business and live my life and enjoy my fun. And I like to be around people that make me laugh, and we have a really great time together. And that's what makes me go. And I don't know what makes you go, but that certainly is the number one thing for me. My whole lifestyle, though, is powered by passive income. And in almost everything I do now, I talk about passive income, whether it's the masterminds I create or the books that I write or the life I live and the teachings that I have. It's all about how to get passive income, and not getting it when you're 65 or 67 and you're too old to actually use it, but hopefully to accelerate the path to passive income so that you can use it earlier and earlier. And a lot of people really just get an epiphany and they accelerate their path to passive income. That's what my goal is all about. I have a few sayings that I'll kind of sprinkle in here. One of those is never give up your power in your health, your wealth, or your time. And certainly I made a decision a few years ago that, that I didn't want to give up my power in either of those three departments. But if you know anybody that's been diagnosed with a terminal illness and they tell you you have 3 months to live, oftentimes what happens is they believe it. And there have been lots and lots of stories of people who decided not to believe it and did some things to make some changes, whether it's impacting their mood in a positive way or making some dietary changes or lifestyle changes. And they ended up living not just 3 months longer, but maybe in a lot of cases more than 10 years longer. And that's because they didn't give up their power, at least in that case, in their health. And I believe the same is true in your wealth and your time. And so if you can keep control of at least those three areas of your life, keep power in them, then you're going to have a much more, hopefully, productive life and a life where you are the master of your own destiny. So by being the master of my own destiny, I decided that I like to travel. And so travel is my big thing, my big value in life. And I love to go to new countries and learn about new cultures and meet new people and learn a lot of new things. It's all about learning for me. And I've so far traveled to 56 countries. I want to do 100 before I go. Maybe I'll change, once I get to 100, I'll probably change my my tune and maybe go to another few dozen. But that's really what I like to do. So what I do today, though, and I'll go back a little bit and tell you about how I've got here, is that I help high net worth investors. They play offense and defense. And we do that by creating safe, reliable income, whether it's in the income funds that I have, the hedge funds that I run, or the teachings that I have in my mastermind groups, or just the people that I hang out with in another mastermind group that's, that's for successful people as well. And so that's my goal, is to help high net worth investors play offense and defense. And I'll tell you a little bit about that as we kind of go through this. But I basically have built a freedom lifestyle. We'll talk about freedom as we go through this. And I want to help you, or at least others, build that freedom lifestyle, because life is a lot more than that 9-to-5 job, going to work for somebody else. Life is about experiences. Life is about laughter and magic moments. And it's not about the grind of being involved in work. And if that's what it is for you, then maybe we should talk a little bit further, because I have some ideas about that I think you can change. But one of the things that I really love to do is that I enjoy teaching other people. For me, I've gotten to this point in my life by learning an awful lot about things. And now I teach other people through my mastermind groups and my mentorship programs, my books, my courses, things like that. But it wasn't always like a really easy process. Things didn't come that easily to me. There was a lot of work involved to get here. And I had a saying a few years ago when I started one of my businesses with a partner, and that was live like nobody else will for 5 years and then you can live like nobody else can for the rest of your life. And I think that has served me, not just, maybe it wasn't 5 years, maybe it was more, maybe it was less, doesn't matter. The point of the matter is you have to be willing to sacrifice, and I was willing to sacrifice and defer gratification so that I could enjoy an accelerated or a multiplied level of gratification a little bit later. And that's kind of what's helped me get here. So I want to talk about a couple of themes as we go through this. And I'll probably just weave them in, but some of the themes that run my life these days are society's brainwashing, wealth management, then personal development, and then I'll talk a bit about the freedoms that we have and the freedoms that we can choose to create for ourselves. So going back, I was born in Italy when I was born, and I was born to a Greek mother and an American father, so I'm a Greek American. And I was fortunate, I didn't really realize it at the time, but I was fortunate to be able to spend my summers in Greece. So I picked up the language, got to meet a lot of really cool people, learned a new culture, and just learned a different way of thinking, frankly. And that's one of the things that drives me in travel, is that the people just think differently. And, I don't have all the answers, and I don't have all the right answers for sure. I can certainly learn from what other people go through. And I went to private schools in my life. I went to 12 years of Catholic school, and I learned all the good Catholic things that I was taught to do. And, I don't really practice that much in there anymore, but there was a lot of valuable things that I learned in that golden rule and the 10 Commandments and some of those things that kind of guide my life on a spiritual level. But there's spirituality's kind of evolved for me. But I was brought up in an entrepreneurial household. My dad was an entrepreneur. His dad was an entrepreneur before him. And then I think everybody was an entrepreneur before that, because we didn't really have factories and things like that back in the turn of the century. That was just when it started. So people were very entrepreneurial. And that's kind of made me comfortable with risk. I grew up watching my dad take risks that mostly paid off. And I'll give you an example of the brainwashing that we have around risk. And you'll hear me talk about this if you watch any of my videos. But I talk about the brainwashing on Wall Street. And let me leave that much of that for a minute, but let me just talk about risk. And so I was just at lunch with a guy the other day. His name was Andrew, and he's $500,000 in the bank. So $500,000 sitting in the bank. And I said, wow, that's great. How long has it been in there? He said, over a year. He said, that's kind of my fallback money in case something happens. I said, oh, that's fine. But what do you make it on it? He said, I'm making 0.4%. Not even 1% he's getting. Now, I always find that interesting because he followed it up by saying, I don't want to lose it. I don't want to take any risk. Let's look at this together, right? If he's getting less than 1% and inflation's running 3 or 4 or 5%, it's going to accelerate soon. If it's doing that, then isn't he guaranteeing himself a loss? In other words, if he puts in $100,000, in this case, he's got $500,000. At the end of the year, sure, he'll make 0.4% on that money, but he won't be able to buy as much with that $500,000 that he could buy today. In other words, the inflation is eating at the money. The buying power is going down. And that's a theme in the markets. Most people think the markets are going up. What's really happening is the dollar is devaluing. And so the dollar has devalued by about 99% in about 100 years. So when we've lost 99% of our buying power in 100 years, it's not that things are necessarily going up. It's just we're losing the value of our money. And in fact, it's a tax on everybody, but it's mostly a tax on the poor because there's no disposable income that the poor people can invest after that. They just use all their money to buy the things that help them to live. And so the dollar is being devalued. And so to me, putting your money, $500,000, for a while in an account that's going to give you 0.4% is not only risky, it's lunacy because you're guaranteeing a loss. I don't know what's more risky than guaranteeing a loss. Like to me, that's 100% risk. And so I find that to be an interesting thing, but there's lots of things that I talk about with relation to risk. And I could probably do a whole video and will on that. So going back to my childhood, I don't remember a lot of when I was really young, but I do know that I was always taught to work hard. And my dad, got a lawnmower, and then I think he decided, hey, I got a kid, let me make him mow the lawn. And he paid me, I think it was $5 a week to mow the lawn. And then neighbors would see me out there mowing the lawn, cleaning my pool, and they would ask me to mow the lawn and then clean their pool. And I built up a little bit of business, and I saved some money. And then, often I would come home and my dad would be reading the paper. And often he would be spending time on the stock tables. This is back when newspapers had 2 or 3 or 4 pages dedicated to all the companies out there and the financial information that was about those companies. And so I asked him one day, what are you doing? And he said, I'm watching my stocks. And he was writing some things on the newspaper and, circling some things. And I thought, well, maybe you could teach me about that. What is that? He says, well, it's where you invest in companies in the United States and that multiplies and turns into more money. And I thought that was kind of neat because I had saved up some money. So he taught me a few things about it. And then I started reading it. And I decided that, going alphabetically down the columns, the first column that met those criteria that my dad taught me, the first company was a company called Aileen, which is a women's clothing store. I'd never heard of it before or since I made the investment, but it was a clothing store that was trading for $3 a share. And so I bought 100 shares and I ended up doubling my money. So it went to $600 and I thought, wow, this is cool. You put your money in and you don't have to work for it. What did I realize? That it was stored work, but I didn't even have to work for it. And that money just doubled. How cool is that? And so it was basically like if you've ever played golf and you hit that drive right down the center of the fairway, you're kind of hooked. You're like, oh, this is easy. And then you think that every investment after that is really easy. But I got lucky again. I was watching TV with my dad one night and I heard a commercial about how this company called Allegheny Airlines was changing its name to U.S. Air. And I thought, well, that's a cool name, U.S. Air. It sounds pretty American and patriotic. And so I bought some of that. It was around $17 when it went public or when it merged. And then it went up and doubled again. And so it went up to like $35 and I made double again. And then I thought, wow, this is really easy. Then my dad taught me how to short something, which means selling something before you own it. You can do that in the stock market. And I made money again. And I was like, wow, this is great. And so I had taken my $300 and I turned it into $1,000 or something like that. And then around that same time, my dad saw my interest in that. So he started to show me the books that he had been reading. And there was a book on his shelf called Beat the Market by Edward Thorp. And I was fascinated by that book. I'll tell you about Edward Thorp in a little bit. But all of this investment allowed me to buy my first car, which is a 1975 cherry red Chevy Camaro that I just love that car. And that was my first car. I bought it on the day I turned 16. And that was all from the money that I started by working for and then I invested. And so this kind of showed me that there was some success involved in being able to invest properly. And so I kind of was really hooked on it. And I invested all through high school. And I basically taught my broker, his name was Harry, he used to work for E.F. Hutton. I taught him this method of trading covered calls. And he had never heard of it. And he always had to get the option principal on the phone in New York to be able to do this. And it wasn't easy as clicking a mouse back then. I had to pay $300 in and $300 out on commissions at that time. So it was very expensive to buy companies. But I bought IBM and I did well writing covered calls. And that's kind of the theme of what's going on in my life today. But I'll tell you more about that as we get there. So I traded and invested all the way through college. I read the Wall Street Journal every day. I was fascinated by it. And it's really my passion. Investing has really become my passion. And but in college, I wasn't quite sure that I wanted to do that for a living. It was back when things were really popular in the Swatch watch business. I don't know if you know that, but there was a period of time where people would wear like 10 Swatch watches. And they were colorful and had these cool designs. And I thought, what if we put a University of Florida gator? That's where I went to school. It was a great school called University of Florida. What if we put a little gator on the front and made the bands orange and blue and just had some fun with it? Would I be able to sell those? So I went to Hong Kong. There's a whole story about how I figured out a way, as a broke college student to get to Hong Kong. But I went to Hong Kong, met with manufacturers, figured out a way to import watches into the United States. And I started with the University of Florida, and then it went to FSU, and then it spread through 23 schools in the Southeast. But it was a kind of a cool business that I don't think I made any money on it, but I kind of learned about importing and design and learned a lot about myself in the process. But, one of the things that I always realized is that as I got this knowledge in school, I never really got a lot of knowledge from the classroom. And I think that even the University of Florida president came out and said, you're going to learn 99% of everything you are going to need in life outside the classroom. And boy, was he right. And so it kind of has shaped my views to today, because I see a lot of people going to college and not getting huge amount of value from college. I see the prices of college going up and people graduating and then they can't get a job and they stay in their mother's basement or whatever until they can find something, and it's probably not even in their field or what they were trained on. I think it's an awful shame. It's a waste of time and it's a waste of money in a lot of cases. I think there's certainly a case to be made for college for some professions and some trades. And if you know exactly what you want to do, there's certainly, a path there. But I think by and large now, college is starting to fail us, certainly when the time and money equation don't pan out to be, you graduate and you make more money, which is the whole point, right? The whole point is to go to school for 4 years and get out and be able to make more money than if you didn't spend that time and money in school for 4 years, right? But I don't think that's the case anymore. And maybe it'll change, maybe it won't, but I think things are evolving. Things are moving online. Things are changing in our lives. And so the college experiment, I don't think is giving us the value anymore. In fact, I remember when I was in college, when I was graduating, I thought, I got this marketing degree and I was excited about that. And what was I going to do with that marketing degree? And I they didn't teach you how to find a job in college. They just taught you how to get a degree. And then these fairs would come in and all the great jobs were Procter and Gamble, go sell Tide, or, put some, soap on the shelves, or stock batteries for Duracell, or sell Frito-Lay chips. And that was the job that you would get as a business major. You would start at $22,000 or $30,000 or something like that. And you would basically, be a glorified clerk, with a college degree, putting Frito-Lay on the shelves, putting Pringles or whatever. I don't know what it was. Chips, potato chips. And then I got an offer to sell elevators. And anyway, none of this really appealed to me. So I decided I was going to stick with my entrepreneurial venture and go with that. And that's what I did. I stuck with my watch company for a few years. And then all along this period of time, not only was I exposed to investing, but I was also starting to get exposed to personal development. And I got exposed to Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins and Earl Nightingale and some of the greats. But Tony Robbins really started to shape my life. I did basically every program that he ever put out. And I started to realize that successful people, wealthy people, have a dedication to growth, to dedication to developing themselves personally. And so I decided to do the same thing. And it really manifested in some really cool changes in my life. And my life has since been built around personal growth. I teach this stuff. I've integrated it into my life. I talk to people about it all the time. But through this period of time, after college, I had a t-shirt store with my dad. I sold copiers for a living. Don't ever do that unless you have, but it was a cool job because you learn how to sell people things that they don't need or that they already have. Maybe they needed them. It was a really tough job, but I learned a lot, but don't ever do it if you can avoid it. I had a 976 number, which you would call up a number and I would have a stock tip on it. So I had to get my registered investment advisor's license. And then, later I eventually became a stockbroker and I went to work for a company called Oldie Discount Stockbrokers, run by a guy named Ernie Oldie, who was a friend with Charles Schwab and Muriel Siebert and some of the other big discount names on the street at the time. And I was starting to learn a lot, but now I was finally, in my passion, in my business that had a passion behind it. And online brokerage firms were at that time just starting to become a thing and starting to take off. And so I looked at that, and I talked to Ernie about some of the things that he was doing in the business, and things started to change, and I didn't want to just keep working for somebody else. So I decided with a partner to start my own Wall Street firm. And first it was a brokerage firm, and then it was kind of a financial planning firm, and then we had an opportunity that the SEC put out to become the functional equivalent of a stock exchange. It was called an Electronic Communications Network then, or an ECN. And so we made the application. We had to go raise a bunch of money, millions of dollars, and got investors together. And we got a successful approval to become an ECN. And the business was growing like crazy. It was doubling actually doubling every single year for many, many years in a row. And, it grew so quickly that I was nominated for Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year award at the time. I was nominated twice, actually. We won Small Business of the Year. We built a team of some really great people, up to 100 associates at one time, over $30 million in revenue. It was really kind of a fun time. Things were really happening on Wall Street in the late 90s, and we were kind of in the mix of all that. We even made a run at buying the American Stock Exchange at one point, which didn't succeed, but it was a valiant effort. It would have been a really cool project, and I think it would have probably taken them a lot farther than where they are today. And so eventually I sold that company to a very large Wall Street company. And then I decided, okay, well, now what am I going to do? I got some money, and I started working on my golf score, but that was kind of boring after a while. And so I never really strayed from the market. I started to really dive into investing, diving into kind of figuring out this crazy game that we call investing, that if you can figure it out, there's an unlimited potential. And so I got all the licenses when I had this brokerage firm. I had my Series 7 and my Series 4, and 64 and 27 and 24 and 65 and all these numbers. So I had all the licenses, and I had trading companies set up. So I thought, well, why don't I really start to learn the nuances of trading, figure it out? And I was retired at 39 at that time. And I realized that it's really easy to get yourself in trouble by clicking a mouse, right? It's so easy to make a trade. You can make a trade and invest $250,000, $500,000, $1 million with one click of the mouse in just a second. But most people don't realize that the stock is important, but it's not the most important thing. It's what your mindset's all about. It's what you do after you have the stock, after you click that mouse and you get into an investment that makes the difference. And so I wanted to figure out, how do I learn that? How do I know that there's not just guessing and I hear somebody on TV tell me what stock to buy, but now I have a confidence behind it, I have a certainty behind it, and I have a system behind it. And that's what I realized. I needed a system. So I went back and I immersed myself in all the classic books. I must have read like 100 books at the time, took all these courses, studied gurus of the time, like Jesse Livermore, who was the greatest trader of all time, mostly considered, and William O'Neill, who was probably number 2 right behind him, and Edward Thorpe, who I mentioned earlier, had written that book called Beat the Market. And, William O'Neill was really pivotal in my life at that point because he had a full system behind investing. He called it Can Slim. And I like the fact that he was really detail focused and research focused. And he went back and he studied what the greatest companies of all time had done over the last, say, 100 years. And he put them together, like he found the commonalities, he found the chart patterns, he found the fundamental patterns in those, and he kind of put it together in this system called Can Slim. And that molded a lot of the things that I've done in my investment life. I've added some things onto them and I've improved upon them. But William O'Neill was really quite a pioneer for me anyway. Edward Thorpe was my next influence in the market because he wrote that book called Beat the Market. And the funny thing is it was a sequel to a book called Beat the Dealer, which was about how to beat the blackjack tables. And the blackjack, you probably might have even seen the movie. It was about these kids from MIT that went to Las Vegas and they figured out how to count cards and beat Las Vegas in card counting on blackjack. And he had, prior to that, figured out a way to beat the roulette tables and gotten kicked out of Las Vegas. Then he got kicked out after he wrote the Beat the Dealer book, for the blackjack. And then he turned his attention to conquering the market. And he was one of the most successful hedge fund managers until he closed his hedge fund back in the 90s. And so he really molded me because he talked about this system called covered calls, which he was writing them against warrants at the time. But now there's options, and options market has become more robust, and it's helped me a lot. So don't need to get into all the theory about that, but you should know that I studied people like Warren Buffett and Nicholas Darvas, who wrote How I Made $2 Million in the Stock Market, and Van Tharp and Paul Tudor Jones, and the list goes on and on, Ray Dalio and a few other people. And so I learned a lot. I kind of took these little pieces and I put them into my system, and I started to develop my own methodology. And I realized that while I was on Wall Street, there was a brainwashing going on. It's just another one of society's brainwashing. And this was Wall Street brainwashing. But first, there's a brainwashing that happens in society in general, and that's called the American dream. They tell you, if you go to school and you study really hard, you'll get your college degree, and then you'll go get a nice job, and you'll find a nice spouse, and you can get married, and you can buy a beautiful house, and then you can have 2.4 kids and a dog, and then you can, get in more debt and buy a bigger house and a nicer car because you got to keep up with the neighborhood, and you could just keep amassing all this debt. And they don't. What they're not telling is that you're becoming a slave to your debt. And that's the programming of the American dream. And most people, when they're 65, don't really feel like they're better off. They kind of follow the American dream, but they followed it blindly, and they don't feel like they're that much better off when they're older, and it's too late then. And so there's also the other brainwashing that comes from Wall Street. I call it investment brainwashing. And that's this: save your money and, keep it in the bank really safe, and then invest in diversified assets like a portfolio of mutual funds and ETFs and maybe some stocks and bonds. And then, don't take too much risk, invest for the long term, buy and hold, don't sell things because they want to keep your money. And then you'll be able to retire at, say, 65 or 67 with a nice, income, that you have in bonds. It doesn't work out that way either. And so what they tell you is that you want to keep that same lifestyle as that you had when you were working, which is work for about 49 or 50 weeks a year, and then you get 2 or 3 weeks of vacation. Only problem is when you retire, you're a little bit older and you can't really, your knees are creaking, your hips are hurting. Maybe you don't want to go do the things that you could have done when you're 45 or 50. And you might have some more vacation time, but you're not able to really use it. So you sit around, maybe you play a little golf or you watch a little TV. And that's not really what it's all about, is it? At least it's not for me. So I just found it really interesting how these societal brainwashing patterns are out there, and we don't really, by and large, question them. And so my job is just to kind of expose them. And that's one of the reasons I do these videos is to kind of show you there's a different way to think. And if you think for yourself, you'll probably be a lot farther ahead. So talking about Wall Street, and since I was on Wall Street, I'll tell you, Wall Street is run by salespeople and lawyers. So what do they want to do? They want to gather your assets, hold on to them, and then prevent you from suing them. So that's primarily who runs Wall Street. I don't care if they tell you it's financial planners or whatever, because most people are trained in sales and not financial planning. Trust me on that. Have you ever heard this concept? Maybe you've heard this. Give us your money. We're going to spread it around. You're going to get about 6, 8, maybe 10% a year if you're lucky, right? That's good because that's what the averages do. So if you're average, we want to make you really average. And then you'll get 6, 8, 10% a year, maybe. And some years you might even get 11 or 12. Wow, that would be great. And then we're just going to compound the interest and then show you these pretty graphs, and you'll compound your interest. And, in many decades, you're going to become rich, right? If you make that kind of money. Have you ever heard that? Because that's what I used to tell people, and that's what I used to hear because I didn't really know any better. And by the way, don't worry about our fees. You won't even notice the fees. The fees are in there. It's like we're going to charge like 1% a year. If we're getting you 8 or 10% a year, you can afford 1%, right? That's a nice little fee that we can wrap around your account. You pay us that whether you succeed or whether you fail. They don't tell you about the hidden fees in the mutual funds. They don't tell you about the expense ratios in the other funds and the ETFs. They don't tell you how much is not being shown to you. The studies show that it's about 3.4%. And if you're only making 6 or 8%, it's a pretty big chunk that goes to people making a living. I have no problem with people making a living, but you should know how much your money is making them and paying them to help them make that living. You should just know about it. And so when we do all this brainwashing, what happens is that people don't really question things. And I want just people to start thinking independently. Almost everything that's thrown at us, there's some money behind it trying to get us to buy something or think a certain way. I just want you to start to question it. And so, we can go to the next concept of brainwashing, and that is, in our education, in our schools. And so they tell you, we're going to teach you about Romeo and Juliet and the Pythagorean theorem. We're going to teach you about the pharaohs, and we're going to teach you about Beowulf and the Scarlet Letter, some of the things I learned. We'll teach you some English because you're going to use that, and some algebra, which you'll probably never use, and calculus, which you'll never use, and chemistry, which you'll never. We'll teach you all this stuff. You know what they don't teach you? They don't teach you about money. They don't teach you about how to communicate with other people. They don't teach you about how to negotiate things. They don't teach you about real estate. They don't teach you about passive income. They don't teach you about choices that you make in your life. They don't teach you about personal development. Everything that you really need to learn Unfortunately, except for maybe your times tables and how to write a couple of sentences, you got to go take a seminar to learn it or have somebody mentor you to learn it after you graduate. I think that's just wrong. You had 12 years of undergraduate education and then you had, college education for 4 years. They still don't teach you that most of the time. They don't teach you about business, right? I mean, it's a real shame. It's a real waste of 16 years that they have a chance to teach you the things that you need every day. Like, why do we make money? So that we can earn money and invest it and use our money. They don't even tell us how to use our money. Don't tell us how to save it. Don't tell us how to invest, stay out of debt or maximize our debt or invest in real estate. I mean, it's just crazy, isn't it? When you really think about it, like the number one thing that we use every day, I'm sure you went into your wallet today, or I'm sure you charged something today, is money. Let's not even teach the kids about that. I mean, I just don't get it. So don't get me started. But I've decided to teach it, right? So I teach money management. I teach you how to trade in the stock market. I've written a book on negotiation. I have courses on that. I teach you time management. I teach you business. And there's lots of other resources and people that I know and have that we can teach you these things. But the bottom line is we've got to teach it. And we got to teach it in an effective way, because people aren't just going to spend money with me unless they know it's going to translate to something that's going to make them money. But they'll spend money. They'll throw $30,000 at a quarter or a semester of college, but they don't know that that's going to translate to making them money on a political science or a liberal arts degree. They don't know. And so I teach these things, and I've developed two major systems in the financial markets. And I like to concentrate in the financial market. There's lots of other things that I like to teach, and a lot of it revolves around personal development. But I think that if you learn how to manage your money, if you learn how to handle money, if you learn how to become wealthy, it opens up all kinds of really cool possibilities for you in your life. And a lot of people that I work with have already done that, and now they're accelerating some of those things that we talk about. And so I've developed two major trading systems. One of them is based on William O'Neill's Can Slim system. I've added to it, and it's called the Genius system, Stock Trade Genius system. It gets about 40% on average, but it has some fluctuations. And, about 40% on average is a lot more than Wall Street makes. But you know what? When I'm handling other people's money, it's really difficult, because you're happy when you're making money, but every once in a while you have a bad year. And I had a bad year in 2018, and I lost people some money that year. And I made some mistakes. I didn't follow my system exactly the way I wanted to. I got a little bit emotional. I might have overstretched, and I made some mistakes. And I realized that I was losing sleep because I was handling other people's money. And it affected my health and did, some other stuff. And I was like, I don't want this anymore. I'm getting too old to be losing sleep over, bad investment ideas. And I'm not really familiar with it, because every year the thing's making money, except this 1 year in 2018. So I decided it was time to go back to my roots again, study again, learn more from some of those early gurus. And I had to go back to what I was doing as a kid. And I went back to Edward Thorp's book, and I really dove into that, and I started to come up with my own, not only just trading strategy, but a full system, a set of rules. It was going to allow me to create safe, reliable income. It's a system that's now today called the cash flow machine. It's a fantastic system for creating safe and reliable income. I'm really proud of it. And now we do have fluctuations. We do have down days, but they're minimized because we create safe income, which also helps us play a little bit of defense as well. And so I run a couple of hedge funds, and I use this system almost exclusively in each of those hedge funds, and the returns are just fantastic. Then I also teach it because I'm proud of the fact that I can help change people's lives through some of the courses that I put out. And so people take my courses, they learn my methodology. If they want to do it hands-on, that's a perfect way to do it. We have a mastermind group around it. We have a mentorship program around it. You can just take my course. I have lots of choices. In 2020, for example, the S&P 500 returned 16%, and we did many, many, many times that as a result. The same thing with the year before, and we basically do this now over and over again. And so I teach people who want to be hands-on. I handle people's money who want to be hands-off in my funds. And the bottom line is I trade in my income fund, and I help 6 and 7 and 8 figure investors augment what they're already doing with their money. I don't want all their money. I just want to show them there are ways to not make 6 or 7%, or even 15 or 20 if you're doing real estate, which is what they always tout. but there's ways to do multiples of that. And so I also teach people about choices. Like, you have choices in life. What are the choices going to be for you? Are you going to decide to be risk averse and just stay holed up? Or are you going to decide to explore other things that you don't even know what you don't know? Maybe there's some things about investing that you don't know and you owe it to yourself to at least find out about it. Some of the lessons come from mindset that you get in life. And my goal is to give you some of these lessons so you have a better mindset when it comes to investing and approaching life. My goals are to help you think individually and independently. And I want you to create your own freedoms, whether it's location freedom, time freedom, people freedom, freedom from people you don't like to hang out with. There's lots of freedoms that we can embrace in our life. That's a bit of my background. And if you want to follow me, you should buy one of my books. If you want, I've got an intro book called Hacking Money. It's a great book for kids, teenagers, that shows you the cycle of money and how you should save, invest, protect it, things like that. And then I have courses that we do, masterminds, and you take the course, I put an ecosystem around it where we have a community around it. I have a mastermind community called Epic. You can go to justbeepic.com if you're a 7-figure male or more. And we hang out, travel the world, and do really cool things together and learn together and hold each other accountable for keeping ourselves to the goals that we create, whether it's in your health or your wealth or your relationship. And I want to help people create the lifestyle that they want. That's kind of part of what I do. So I'd like to see more of you in person if possible. And maybe we can even meet in person. Maybe you can travel with me at some point. My goal is to get the best in life for you. I want you to have the best that you can possibly have for you in life. And if I can help in any way, please let me know. You can have a good life, or you can have an epic life. And an epic life, I kind of define as doing what you want to do, wherever you want to do it, whenever you want to do it, with whomever you want, anytime, right? So that's my definition of epic life. Maybe it's different for you, but I want you to make that choice. I want you to have the idea that you can make that choice and have the confidence that by making that choice, you can create your life. If you want to find out a little bit more about what we do, I'm sure there's going to be something at the bottom of this page. Buy my book or join our courses or come hang out with me. But if nothing else, I certainly thank you for slogging through this whole story of my life with me. And if we can meet again, I would certainly be honored to meet you. And hopefully that will happen. Have a great day.
How can we help you? 5 ways. First, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell below to make sure you get our new video the minute it comes out. Second, get a copy of my book, Hacking Money, and you'll learn a system for creating wealth through passive income so that you can build the lifestyle of your dreams. Click where it says book below. Third, if you want to hit the ground running, or if you want to learn how to invest from someone with over 44 years of investing success, click the products and programs link below. Fourth, if you want to accelerate your path to increase your wealth, consider joining one of my ecosystems. I have mentorships and mastermind programs for learning that are practically guaranteed to make you a successful investor. Or if you want to travel the world and learn from me and other multimillionaires on the path to greatness, you should consider joining my elite mastermind group. Fifth, if you want some help right now because you have a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to create massive passive income, or you want to accelerate your results in your investments, or maybe you just want personalized mentorship to build the lifestyle of your dreams, we can help. Maybe you're a multimillionaire who just wants someone else to handle some of your investing decisions and you want to invest in one of my funds. Whatever it is for you, click on the link below where it says Become a Client. All those links are below. You create your world, nobody else. And remember, never give up your power in your health, your wealth, or your time.